Market Prospects, delivering timely information and education to prairie farmers for over 30 years. Market Prospects is brought to you by the University of Saskatchewan's Department of Agricultural and Resource Economics and these sponsors. Log on to marketprospects.usask.ca to view past programs and for information on upcoming programs.
Well, crop research is key to keeping prairie agriculture competitive. This week on Market Prospects, we focus on the Western Greens Research Foundation and farmer investment. Joining us is Dave Sefton, chair of WGRF, and Garth Patterson, the WGRF executive director. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Right off the top then, Dave, what is the Western Greens Research Foundation doing now? And I understand it's celebrating its 35th anniversary. Why has it been so successful?
Basic reason we're successful is we focus on research. We have a broad membership of farm organizations from across Western Canada, and we invest in field crop research that will benefit Western Canadian farmers. Those are the main reasons. We're farmer directed, we're focused on farmers, and we're a farm organization.
Okay, Garth, so what are some of the highlights of the organization over the past 35 years?
Well, Bob, the Western Greens Research Foundation of today is quite different from 35 years ago. Today, we're actually the largest funder of field crop research in Canada. Last year, we invested over $19 million into field crop research. We've also grown to 18 member organizations. We have over 250 projects now that we're currently involved in funding. As well, we have national collaborations. We're the lead on the National Wheat Research Cluster, with partners all the way from Atlantic Canada through Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia. And we have a number of synergies with other funding organizations in Western Canada. That way we can avoid duplication and look for synergies. Compared to 35 years ago, initially there were $9 million in the endowment fund. There were 12 organizations with the vision to say that, you know, there are opportunities to fund research if we think in Western Canada, but that $9 million gave a limited capacity to fund research each year. And there's been a number of important milestones over the years that have helped us grow. In 1994, the federal government asked us to manage the wheat and barley checkoffs to support wheat and barley variety development. That's led now to over 200 publicly available wheat and barley varieties that have come out of the public institutions. And then in 2000, WGRF was named as the recipient whenever the railways exceed the maximum revenue rail entitlement. And over the years, of course, as your audience would know, that has happened. And today we have an endowment fund valued at approximately $120 million. And that really gives farmers the ability to look at funding some cross-cutting key research in the long term that they think will benefit them here in Western Canada.
So what are some of the new initiatives that you guys are looking at this point?
Well, in addition to the project funding and the collaboration we're doing in Western Canada, the two new initiatives that I think the audience would have heard about would be the wheat and barley checkoffs. I think they'll be aware that in 2017, the Western Canadian deduction on wheat and barley ends and moves over to the provincial commissions. So we've been working very closely with the provincial wheat and barley commissions to make sure there's no gaps in the public wheat and barley breeding programs. And we've made $30 million of commitments out to 2020 to make sure there's a seamless transition and that the public wheat and barley breeding continues. So that's the first main initiative. The second is agronomy research capacity. Over the last few decades, we've seen a decline in public research capacity. The one that we've been concerned about now is agronomy, that we've heard about from farmers and members. Over the last couple of years, we've worked with others to look at that situation. And this year, hopefully later this year, we'll be able to make some announcements. Our attention at this time is focused on the 3 Western Canadian agriculture universities, as well as Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada.
So Dave, what's in the future for WGRF?
We'll continue to work with the commissions. We'll continue to find ways of working together. One of the reasons, as I said earlier, that we've been successful is that we cross provincial boundaries. We work with the various groups, and so that we're not involved in the areas of public policy. We're strictly looking at the research. So we're able to focus on that particular area of investment. It also gives us the opportunity to work with the various commissions so that as Garth has indicated, the varieties that are developed on a Western Canadian approach so that they meet the needs both of the customer, but more importantly of the producer, so that they can produce the quality of grain that's required in the marketplace. But also we work with all of the other crops. And so that, as Garth was indicating, we're moving into more agronomy work. It's going to be across various crops so that we know how one crop will enhance or not enhance the next crop that's grown in rotation, so that we can start to get an idea of how the agronomy interacts, not only from year to year, but between different crops. And that's probably the biggest reason that Western Grains is successful is we're not focused on just one area. We're focused on the whole agronomy, the whole package for agriculture production in Western Canada.
Well, great information. Thank you very much, both of you, for coming on Farmgate.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Okay, we'll take a break again. We're back in 2 minutes. Please stay with us.